it's always good to be aware of that, have that body awareness. It's nice and steep, straight down, straight down. I'm just like sliding down. 100 feet to the ground down there, and it's going to be insanely difficult to speed control because there's very limited traction. It's steep, it's exposed, and there's a lot of hazards here. So it almost makes me rethink this standing up top. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm back out here in Fern Gully, and I have some exciting new trail builds going down, as well as rebuilding the Mega Step Up. Let's get into it. All right, it's been a few weeks, but I'm now back out here at the Mega Step Up in Fern Gully, and I'm more motivated than ever to build some huge new lines. I can't wait to show you guys what I have in mind. But first of all, let's look at the Mega Step Up here, because in the last trail building testing episode I did, I crashed on this pretty hard. Oh! 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 More than once, and it's because the radius of this jump is too short. It comes up too quick now, and although it still looks pretty big and long and gradual from down here, it's actually like pretty intense and pretty quick. So what I'm gonna have to do is take all this dirt and throw it in there, but I'm not gonna get carried away with that, because what I'm actually doing is building an entire brand new line that leads down to this jump. And before I change this jump, what I want to do is make sure I have the speed for the run-in dialed. I know how the line above it's going to be linking up, and then I can kind of base the build of this jump around that. Because all I know right now is I'm going to make it more gradual and bigger, but do I want to pull the gap way back at the same time? Will the speed be there? Will the flow be there? Let's go take a look at what I'm doing up top, because it's going to be wild. I'm at the top of the Mega Step Up here. You're going to essentially start at the crest of the hill here now. Take one pedal and clear that jump if you have a nice pump. And that's kind of scary, because jumps that big should not be that easy to clear. And what's even scarier is the run-in directly behind me is a long, steep hill. So no matter what I build, this whole thing's gonna run faster, and I'm gonna have to make the Mega Step Up even bigger than it is. But I'm not gonna get too carried away with that right now, because as I've learned over time, when you're building and you have something in mind, it always ends up different. You can't like perfectly envision how a line's gonna flow and work and then just build it that way. You have to kind of work with the land and see what happens. So no matter what I do above me here, behind me, I'm gonna have to change the Mega Step Up no matter what, and probably make it bigger, unless I can do some sort of crazy speed catch or something. So let's not even worry about this for now. Let's go to the very top. And in this build series, you're gonna see me connect everything into one huge long flowing line, and we have some pretty gnarly features lined up. Here's the very top. It is a little Tour de Nart inspired. I've been really inspired to ride more raw natural lines and build that kind of stuff, because typically I've just stuck to like smooth technical jump lines, and I got this giant beautiful rock face behind me. So what I'm thinking right now is I'll kind of billy goat across the top of it with lots of exposure on my left, and then pop in to a little pocket down here. So I'm gonna have to like build out a nice compression, fill in this hole behind me, and then I'll be shooting myself straight through here. So some dead trees to cut out, and it goes into a nice slope, and it opens up for me there. So that's gonna be the first part of the trail. There's some really gnarly stuff below that I'm gonna leave that a surprise for now. Let's just focus on the very top of the line here. Even just standing up here is terrifying, and it's a lot gnarlier looking from the top here than down there. Let's get onto the edge here, or above the edge, should I say. Okay, so looking down, my line I want, so I'm gonna have to like edge myself through here. So I gotta stay away from this cliff, stay up on this bank, nice narrow little bank, and then I'm gonna have to aim over here. So this is gonna actually be really intense because speed control is gonna be really hard. This isn't like that really nice grippy granite you would find in Squamish or Whistler. This is a pretty slippery rock, and there's dirt on top of it too in sections like right here. So I'm really gonna have to figure this out. So I like the look of that run in. It's totally doable. I kind of want to bank this out more, widen it, because I have dirt to work with up top here. And then finding the line down. Naturally, it wants to shoot me, let's see. Looking from the top, I was almost thinking I could go more to the rider's right, but or looking from the bottom, I thought that. Obviously from being up here, that's not doable. So when you're approaching lines like this to build a raw natural feature, you have to look at it from all different perspectives and see what's gonna make the most sense. There is a really deep compression at the bottom because of that giant hole in the forest floor. So as long as that gets filled in, this looks rideable a number of different ways. Looking at it from where I'm at now, I'm thinking, yeah, this run-in will be cool. It'll be really technical and gnarly. And then with how this terrain is, speed control is gonna be so tough that basically my only option will be straight through here. So right now, while I'm scoping this out for building, my strategy is to slowly walk my way down it. So luckily it's nice and grippy full of dirt here. And I can get on, like, even with one hand holding the camera, I can get down to the next step and I can look in here. And I'll show you what my view is. So right below me here, it's just straight down. It's pretty rough, and there's a lot of ways this could go, a lot of rocks that could throw you in a number of different ways. So my strategy here is just gonna be go with the terrain, see where it takes me. So starting up here, riding down here, in this little pocket, stay in, stay in, stay in. And then basically my only option is right through here because it's like a vertical drop off there with no good way to pop through. I wanna kind of stay in this little rut all the way down. So let's see what happens when I follow this rut. And there is this little edge here, so I'm gonna stay on the inside of that. That's what I mean by the rut here. So I'm kind of right through the middle. So I'm gonna stay in the middle here. It's nice and steep, straight down, straight down. I'm just like sliding down my body. Yeah, so that's totally doable. So that's gonna be a line, is right through there. And then the run out's gonna be intense. And it actually is changing for me now that I just did that. I think that I'll have to come down, I don't know. But this does give me confidence because before I hit any trees, there's a giant hole here with a bank, so I can kind of redirect the run out as I please. I'm almost thinking if it's gonna shoot me that way, maybe I should start like cutting into the ground and banking, and maybe I can make it so I come up this little hill. So I'd like fill in this compression a bit, then pop through to my original run out. But obviously from the bottom, it looks a lot more chill, still intense, but a lot more doable, and I think that's pretty cool. Before I break ground, I want to see things from all perspectives, like I said. Right now I'm at the top of the line, and it's hard to not want to keep going because there's natural, flowy, beautiful, rocky, mossy landscapes behind me that seem to just keep going. And I always do this. I like work my way up a hill instead of down, but I don't really want to go higher than this for now because I am on a mission. I have some specific features in mind, and I want to start right here. So where I'm standing here is the flat spot at the top of this big rock cliff. And if you look at it from up here, it's obviously insane. It's like probably 100 feet to the ground down there. And then at least there's a little shelf that would catch you 20 feet below the edge there or so. But I wanna I'm basically gonna get directly into an off-camber rock, and it's gonna be insanely difficult to speed control because there's very limited traction, it's steep, it's exposed, and there's a lot of hazards here. So it almost makes me rethink this standing up top. But if you look, there's a little dead tree right there. So if I cut that tree out, just ripped it out of the ground, and then scrape some of this moss and bench cut it everything, I can make this not off camber, and I think it has to be that way for this to be safe. And that's gonna be my big first mission, is trying to fix the camber of this face. So I'm climbing down it right now just to feel it out, and even riding close to this edge makes me nervous. Once I see it from right here, like where I'm standing now, it's actually not that hard to walk on because you can find little on-camber pockets. But I'm staying on an on-camera part right now. Yeah, you can see the exposure. It's way down there. And we want to ride through here. And you really want to assess every single thing. So this moss peels off very easily, and you can see more jagged rock underneath. That's not going anywhere. So I'm gonna have to build up a bank with rocks right here. I'm gonna have to really like wedge things in so they're solid, build some little bench cuts for them in the areas I can, and then stack some dirt and bank this whole thing out a little bit. I want to give it a bit of a berm, and then by the time I get past this little dead tree here, which I can just kick out of the way literally, once I'm in here, then I'm back to where we were, and it makes way more sense. So I get into here, and you're pretty much in the safe zone here. I mean, everything about this line is still insane and ridiculous, and I'm pretty nervous about it, but I think that will work. I'm just imagining it right now. So this is my big struggle right now. This is why I keep repeating myself, because I'm really struggling to imagine how I'm gonna camber that out in a safe way. Once I get into here, it's good. So I don't know. Let's go look at some other entrances and make the call. Okay, I just did a loop around the top, and honestly, that exposed section is the very best lineup because it sets you into that rut nicely, and hitting it from any other angle is super dangerous. The problem with lines like this is, especially jagged, more slippery ones, is they might not be the most steep thing you will ever see. I mean, obviously they're pretty straight down, but it never translates to video how gnarly it actually is. And that's something I really consider when I'm building. It's that whole risk versus reward factor that you have to take into account. Is the risk for a line like this is extremely high, extremely dangerous. And yeah, it might make a rad POV clip and a few cool angles from down on the ground with a camera, but it's not gonna be as sick looking or as crazy looking as it actually is in person. And that's why I'm struggling. I'm really struggling to really show that and translate that into a way I can safely ride down this and not take unnecessary risks. There is tons of shelf of rock around here, and it could be something as simple as just 2 ruts that line up nicer and terrain that looks just as crazy or crazier on video, and it will be way safer. So we're gonna keep exploring. Look over there. I ultimately want to link myself up down this flat area directly below me, because that brings me into the next big lines that I've already pre-lined up. But that's it. Let's keep the scouting going, and let's head over to that little ridge over there and see what we can find. I've now hiked this entire area. That ridge over on my right wasn't any good in terms of finding gnarly, unique lines, but I have a new spot that I'm really excited about, and here it is. I'm gonna start up there, up top. So same kind of areas up top on the air side, but a little more to the rider's right. Come along this exposed edge here. So you still have a lot of gnarly exposure, but it's just more straightforward, and speed control is a lot easier. I'm gonna dip off this cliff, nice and slow, snipe between this tree and the cliff edge. So it's pretty intense, but there's a nice dirt pocket. There's lots of transition, and there's a nice, clean run out. And that's the most important thing with lines like this, is having good runouts, good speed control sections where you can really get yourself back in check and keep your flow going. I'm not exactly down with being out of control on a feature and then having nowhere to stop. That was kind of what was happening over there. And all the off-camera-ness and the exposure off the very top was just way too risky. This is gonna be really cool still. It's gonna flow better. It's gonna be a pretty big air into this hill, and it's gonna be a really fast run out. Like, I'm gonna be bombing this hill so fast, and I'm gonna have to do a really nice catch at the bottom to control my speed for the next section. Luckily, it flattens out before it gets into the next really gnarly features, which I can't wait to show you. But that's it. I'm gonna leave it with that. That is what goes into calculating risk on lines like this. There's so much to it. And this will be a relatively quick build, so we'll get all the time lapses going in the next video, and we'll start making some really great progress with the build. I cannot wait to build this zone up, connect it to the mega step up. It's just gonna be unreal. It's gonna be such a sick long flowing line, and who knows, maybe I will eventually keep going. This mountain goes for a while, so there's a lot I could do here. Okay, so that's it for this portion of the video. There's no trail building in this episode. This is just the scouting, the process, what goes into risk assessment, giving you an insight into my thought process when I'm building intense lines like this. I'm gonna end the video off though with some fun riding on one of my favorite rocky natural raw trails out here, and we'll call it. Thanks again, guys. Let's get into the riding. Ooh, that was quite sketchy. I'm gonna clean that up. Got a headache today, not feeling great, and even the lines I normally find easy are a bit challenging today, so it's always good to be aware of that, have that body awareness. Smoother there. Now it's just smooth flow to the bottom, which is good. Well, I have it in me today. The hardest part about riding every day this year has been days where I'm just so burnt out. If I had the choice today, I would have chose not to ride, but now that I'm out here, I don't regret it. It's a lot. Okay, I love this section up here. Ooh, chilling. Oh yeah, I'm at the bottom. And that's it, that's a wrap. I shot this video on the Insta360X3. If you want to get one and support my channel, you can at the link in the description here and in the pinned comment. Thanks so much everybody, and stay tuned for this new spot I'm in, digging. I guess it's not really new, but it's a new section of forest, and it's just so unreal. The natural features are so raw, so epic. There's a lot in the works, so stay tuned. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video. Peace out.